That is all it took, 83 seconds, for Attorney General Pam Bondi to sit in complete silence after Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett held up an email with Bondi's own signature at the bottom. Not a complicated email, not a classified document, a simple settlement authorization for $2.3 million that moved through the Department of Justice 3 weeks after Bondi took office. Watch what happens when Crockett reads that email out loud. Watch Bondi's face. Watch her lawyers scramble. And watch 83 seconds of silence that just destroyed her credibility. You need to see this until the very end, because what Crockett uncovered is not just about money. It is about who that money protected and why Bondi swore under oath she knew nothing about it. If you are new to this channel, subscribe right now and turn on notifications. This hearing just became the most explosive testimony of the year, and you need to see every second of what happened next. Let me set the scene for you. House Oversight Committee, room 2141, Thursday morning, 10:47 a.m. Eastern Time. The room was already packed when Bondi arrived, every seat taken. Journalists lined up against the back wall, cameras positioned at every angle, capturing everything. But here is what nobody expected. Jasmine Crockett, Democrat from Texas, former civil rights attorney, walked in carrying a thin blue folder. Security scanned it. Guard looked confused because the folder was almost empty, just 3 pages inside. Crockett smiled and said 6 words that would echo through every news channel by tonight. 3 pages, 3 lies, 3 minutes. Bondi sat at the witness table with her usual confidence. 3 lawyers flanking her, 2 aides behind her. That look she does, you know the one. Chin up, shoulders back. The "I have survived worse than you" posture. She has done dozens of these hearings. She knows how to handle hostile questions. She knows how to run out the clock. She was not prepared for what Crockett brought with her. The first 40 minutes were standard procedure. Other representatives asked their questions. Department of Justice budget allocations, civil rights enforcement priorities, some back and forth about prosecutorial discretion. Bondi handled it fine, gave her usual non-answers, checked her phone twice, looked almost bored. Then Crockett took the microphone. "Madam Attorney General." The room shifted. That electrical charge when everyone suddenly realizes something is about to happen. People sat up straighter, cameras refocused. Even the stenographer looked up from her keyboard. I want to talk about an email that was sent from your office on February 23rd of this year. Bondi's expression did not change. She has heard this before. Anonymous sources, leaked documents, conspiracy theories. She has her standard response ready. Congresswoman, I am not aware of any specific email that I am not asking if you are aware. Crockett opened the blue folder. I am telling you what I found. This folder contains 3 pages. Page 1 is an email from your Deputy Assistant Attorney General to the DOJ Financial Management Division. Date February 23rd. Subject line settlement authorization. Epstein-related claims. She paused. Let that sink in. Settlement authorization. Epstein-related claims. 3 weeks after you were confirmed as Attorney General, the room went silent. Not the polite quiet of people waiting for the next sentence. The heavy, thick silence of people who just heard something they cannot unhear. Crockett held up the first page so the cameras could see it. In this email, your deputy authorizes the immediate transfer of $2.3 million to an entity called Executive Legal Services, LLC. Recipient address, Cayman Islands. Purpose of payment, quote, legal settlement of outstanding claims related to J matter, end quote. She set the document down. J matter, Jeffrey Epstein. Do you know what claims this settlement was resolving? Madam Attorney General Bondi leaned forward slightly. Congresswoman, I categorically reject any characterization of improper financial activity within the Department of Justice. You can reject it all you want. Crockett pulled out the second page. This will not change what is written here. Page 2. Email response from the Financial Management Division back to your deputy. Date February 24th, 1 day after the authorization. Quote, transfer completed, $2.3 million. Wire confirmed. Rapidient account verified. All documentation sealed under attorney-client privilege per AG directive. She looked at Bondi. Attorney-client privilege. That is interesting, because attorney-client privilege protects communications between a lawyer and their client. So who exactly is the client here? Is it the Department of Justice? Or is it Jeffrey Epstein's estate? A murmur went through the room. Journalists were typing. Committee members were exchanging looks. One of Bondi's lawyers, a gay-haired man in his 60s, leaned over and whispered something. Bondi shook her head slightly. No, she was going to handle this herself. Congresswoman, decisions about settlement payments involve complex legal considerations that I am going to stop you right there. Crockett's hand came up. Not aggressive, just a gentle gesture like she was directing traffic. Complex legal considerations. Let me show you how complex it got. She pulled out the third page. This one had Bondi's signature at the bottom. Bold, clear, unmistakable. Page 3. Directive from the Office of the Attorney General to all DOJ division heads. Date February 25th, 2 days after the settlement. Quote, all documents related to settlement agreement JE0225 are hereby designated attorney work product and exempt from FOIA requests. Any inquiries regarding this matter must be referred directly to the AG office. No exceptions. She paused, and at the bottom, Madam Attorney General, is your signature. The room exploded, not metaphorically, literally, shouting from the gallery, journalists jumping to their feet, camera operators scrambling for better angles, the committee chairman banging his gavel so hard it echoed. Order! Order in this chamber! Bondi sat frozen. Her face had gone pale. Not white, pale, like someone just told her something she did not want to hear. Her lead lawyer stood up so fast his chair scraped. Mr. Chairman, I must object to this line of sit down, counselor. Crockett's voice was ice. Your client can answer for herself. But Bondi did not answer. She just sat there, staring at the document on the screen behind Crockett's head, her own signature blown up 10 feet tall. Crockett said quietly, now almost gently, Madam Attorney General, do you recognize this directive? Silence! Do you recognize your own signature? More silence. Bondi's lawyer tried again. Congresswoman, my client needs time to review time. Crockett stood up, actually stood up from her chair. I have never seen a congresswoman stand during a hearing to question an attorney general like this time. This directive shut down transparency. It blocked FOIA requests. It sealed documents about a $2.3 million settlement to Jeffrey Epstein-related claims. She pointed at Bondi. And you signed it 2 days after the money moved. 2 days. What did they tell you in your first briefing? What did they ask you to do? Now, I need to stop for a second and say this. If this matters to you, if you believe this story needs to reach more people, hype this video right now. The hype button is right next to like. You can hype 3 times a day for free. We have 7 days to get this into the top 100 most hyped videos on YouTube. Every single hype counts. Do it now. Then keep watching, because what comes next is the smoking gun. Bondi finally spoke. Her voice was quiet, strained. Congresswoman, I was not personally involved in every financial transaction that occurs within a massive federal agency. Don't Crockett cut her off. Don't tell me you were not involved. Don't tell me you did not know. Your deputy signed the authorization. Your office sealed the documents. And your signature is on the directive that made it all disappear. She picked up all 3 pages together, held them like a prosecutor presenting evidence to a jury. And here is what makes this even worse. February 20th, 3 days before this settlement, you went on Fox News and said, quote, "I will never protect anyone connected to Jeffrey Epstein. America deserves the truth," end quote. She looked directly at Bondi. 3 days later, you authorized $2.3 million to settle Epstein-related claims. Then you sealed the documents. Then you blocked FOIA requests. Does that sound like someone who will never protect anyone connected to Epstein? The room was dead silent now. You could hear people breathing. Bondi's hands were flat on the table, pressed down hard. Her knuckles were white. That small muscle near her left ear was twitching. Involuntary stress response. The cameras caught it. Everyone caught it. Crockett was not done. She walked back to her table, opened her laptop, pulled up something on the screen. Because it gets worse. A Treasury Department analyst flagged this transaction on February 26th, 1 day after your directive, the analyst wrote, quote, "Unusual payment structure, offshore recipient, no clear business purpose. Recommend SAR filing for potential money laundering review." She looked up Suspicious Activity Report, required by law when financial transactions look questionable. But do you know what happened to that SAR recommendation? It was killed by someone in the executive branch. Someone classified the analyst's memo and shut down the review. She leaned forward. Was that you, Madam Attorney General? Did you kill the Suspicious Activity Report? Bondi's lawyer stood again. Mr. Chairman, my client invokes her right under the Fifth Amendment. She will not answer this question or any subsequent questions regarding this matter. Without, the room erupted again. Fifth Amendment! The Attorney General was taking the Fifth! Crockett just nodded slowly, like she expected this, like she wanted this. Fifth Amendment, the right not to incriminate yourself. She walked back to the microphone. The Attorney General of the United States believes that answering questions about a $2.3 million Epstein settlement would incriminate her. She looked at the cameras. Not at Bondi, at the cameras. American people, are you hearing this? Your Attorney General cannot explain why she authorized millions of dollars to settle Jeffrey Epstein-related claims. She cannot explain why she sealed the documents. She cannot explain why she killed the Suspicious Activity Report, because answering those questions might incriminate her. Hit that like button right now if you understand how serious this is. We need people to see this. The silence that followed lasted exactly 83 seconds. I know because multiple journalists timed it. 83 seconds where Bondi could have denied this, could have explained this, could have defended herself, but she did not. She sat there, hands on the table, face pale, lawyers whispering frantically, and said nothing. Crockett gathered her 3 pages. These documents will be entered into the congressional record today. Every email, every signature, every sealed directive. The American people will see it with their own eyes. She looked at Bondi one last time. And those claims, whatever Jeffrey Epstein-related claims, were settled with $2.3 million of taxpayer money. Those claims will come out. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but they will come out because the truth always comes out. And this cover-up cannot remain hidden forever. She stepped away from the microphone. I yield back, Mr. Chairman. The hearing technically continued after that. It went on for another hour. Other representatives asked other questions, something about antitrust enforcement, something about immigration policy. None of it mattered. Nobody was listening. Nobody cared. Because Jasmine Crockett, a civil rights attorney from Texas, had just done what nobody else would do. She named the money trail. She showed the emails. She displayed Bondi's signature. And she forced the Attorney General to take the fifth, rather than explain a $2.3 million settlement to Jeffrey Epstein-related claims. Within minutes, the internet exploded. Hashtag Crockett83 trending worldwide. Cable news cutting to emergency coverage. Legal experts debating whether Bondi just admitted to obstruction of justice. And somewhere, whoever received that $2.3 million was probably making very panicked phone calls. This is not a conspiracy theory anymore. This is not speculation. This is documented fact entered into the congressional record. 3 emails, 1 signature, 83 seconds of silence, and Pam Bondi sitting there with no answer and nowhere to hide. If this kind of investigation matters to you, if you want deeper access to the documents and hearings we cannot share publicly, become a classified insider. Members get extended hearing footage, monthly live document breakdowns, and direct Q&A sessions. This is not just watching, this is understanding. Join now. Share this video everywhere. This conversation needs to reach everyone. The pressure cannot stop until we know exactly who received that $2.3 million. And what claims were being settled. If you made it this far, you understand how serious this is. Subscribe now, hit the bell, and if you missed how Ted Lieu trapped Patel with 47 names, watch the video on screen right now, because these cases are connected. The same pattern, the same silence, the same